I'm not there. I'm supposed to be there, Mr. Tap. We are back together, Mr. Tap. Welcome in the house on the great Wednesday night, July 3rd, 2024. An amazing, great start of July. Independence Day tomorrow in the USA. We just passed the Happy Canada Day a couple of days ago. People on vacation, people enjoy, people excited about the Montreal Canadiens. I'm talking about, of course, Dimitar with the Montreal Canadiens, and the fans are looking at the future with a great way for Montreal to become a great hockey team in the next couple of years. So tonight, we have a couple of things to talk about, Mr. Altab. We're going to hit what's happening with the Montreal Canadiens at the development camp. We have a couple of news around the Montreal Canadiens, new assistant coach with the Laval Rocket, and then new head coach development also for the Montreal Canadiens. We're going to talk about different contract happening. First of all, Sakoski. We're going to go back with Sakoski. But the most important thing, Mr. Natab, tonight we're going to talk about, and I want to sharing with you an exercise we're going to do tonight is the Montreal Canadiens have to be patient. One more year at least. After that, I'm going to give you a little bit more the salary cap on the Montreal Canadiens at the 2024, 2025, 2025, 2026, 26, 27, Mr. Tap. I'm going to give you also, Mr. Tap, the roster of the Montreal Canadiens and the 25, 26 with the young guns of the Montreal Canadiens, plus the pipeline of Montreal Canadiens. Finally, if you're watching the video, my channel, the channel of the Hockey Nation, Habs Nation, today I did a special video about Dimitar, an elite player, but why he is the second best prospect at the NHL draft, and it's happening today. So watch all those videos we produce every single day for the channel by the Hockey Nation, the Habs Nation channel. So thanks so much, Mr. Natab. You are back in the house with me tonight. Glad to have you
Pleasure,
aboard. Hopefully,
Coach.
have an amazing, great start of the month of the July, the second half of 2024. Everybody, rock and roll. The summer hit everywhere with the nice weather or hot weather or sticky weather, depend where you at in North America. And for us, the season, a raining time in Tatum, Mr. Natab. It's still a big storm this morning. But it's okay. Not worry about that. The most important thing, I need to
It's
be
going
worried more
throughout.
about the internet to anything else, Mr. Natab, on that situation. So before we start, Mr. Natab, we're going to welcome a couple of people here. Thanks to join us. Martin Bazinet, de retour avec nous ce soir. Martin, j'espère que tout va bien avec toi. Pour te répondre à ta question, Martin, on va te la donner dans quelques instants. We have also le modérateur Luciano back in the house tonight, followed by my friend from Thailand, Bangkok, Mr. Roy. Roy back in the house tonight. And then we have
Welcome,
Steve.
guys.
Welcome, Steve. Long time, my friend. Hello, Coach.
Stevie
Kent
O.
Hughes makes some great move. Add a Brian Fritcher. Love your video. Thanks so much. See, appreciate very kind of your comments. Very nice. We are really grateful, thankful to have the people like you and the side of the channel. That's make the channel so much better and really kind and
And
really nice
if
to hear
you
the people appreciate the video. And tonight we talk about something about the Montreal Canadiens. Stay tuned.
if you haven't had the chance, guys, to see Coach's video today about Demirov, go and watch it. It's really, really thorough. It shows Demirov in many different situations, a lot of clips. Believe me, I know it took a lot of time for him to put it together, but it's excellent quality. You got to see it.
Thanks so much. Appreciate that. In our tap. Plus, we have Michael Edge videos coming Friday morning. So stay tuned. I'm working on that part. Of this video, will be a little bit different at the Dimitar. I'm going to talk about the human being, the family, and also of the player who is Michael Edge. So stay tuned for that one Friday morning. I'll be out there for the people. We're going to be. This is the last show of the week, Wednesday night. Why? Because it's Independence Day in the USA tomorrow, and then we're going to hit the weekends. During the weekends, during the summertime, guys, we don't work during the weekend, the Saturday. So we're going to push the next video, the next show, only Sunday next week, and then we're going to go back next week a little bit more easier. But stay tuned. Something happening. We're going to open up a notification for each one of you. But tonight, this is all about the Montreal Canadiens. A couple of news about the NHL news. We have a couple of trade, and then we have a couple of signature on the day three, if you can call it that one, is on top of the UFA. And we'll see what could happen. Steve is happy about Dimitrov and Koivu. Yes, you have to be happy about that signature of the Montreal Canadiens as the NHL draft. notre ami Patrick Lewhite de retour avec nous ce soir. Welcome back, Patrick. Thanks to be with our Canadian show. Tonight's about Alex Brett Beckman, I believe, to run age for a use 45 times the money. And Luis Arias. And we have Luis Robert. I don't know if it's all about baseball or something else.
Louis Robert. Oui, it is.
Here we go. Terry, the double T is in the house tonight. Hopefully doing well, Mr. Terry. Léon Renault, de retour avec nous ce soir. Léon back in the house, Mr. Nartap from Winnipeg. And he said, making some strange signature again. Steve Eiserman, after a quiet UFA, overall, not big. Got today Tarasenko. We'll talk about that contract the next couple of minutes. Slicky, number 14, back in the house. Slicky was with us, very active during the NHL draft with the channel. Mr. Top is with us. Think the wait is more like 2 years as a price contract has 2 years left as well. Gallagher Anderson have 2 years left. They need to free up that cap space. Slicky 14. Yeah, it could be that direction, Slicky. But what could happen next year? I think Montreal Canadiens are going to hit something somehow. Slicky, I'm going to talk about the reason I said we have to be patient one more year. And definitely we have Mr. Ron with Cakes, moderator from the Utah, Mr. Natap, where the new location of the new team from Phoenix, Arizona, now are in Utah. Very active team, Mr. Natap. They really they get change their backup, their back of the defensemen, and they still have a lot of money still to spend. So is it going to be not done by Armstrong for them? Then we have a Slicky. I know the comment, Mr. Santa, before we talk more. You might see something done in the last final year where they could trade with a sweater like a draft pick, a prospect, or buyout in the final year. It could happen that way, Slicky, 14. If you talk about Anderson and Gallagher, Mr. Dewsby is in the house, Mr. Tap. Kept going up, and Armia de Varek Saval returning Surrey gone next year. So we could see them more aggressive in the market.
Count on it.
That's pretty much what I'm going to talk about this.
Count on it. Yeah.
It makes sense
I
for that
wouldn't be
one,
surprised.
for this one. And the news should be not there yet, Mr. Top, but we're going to remove that news exactly right here. It's not about this one. Here we go. First of all, the NHL news. Here we go. We're going to start with that one. Vladimir Tarasenko changed again and put his luggage on the plane. And now we have another destination with the kid and the wife. He's going to be with the Detroit Red Wings for the next 2 years. Tarasenko said he got traded from the St. Louis Blues. Traveled a lot from Ottawa to the Florida Panthers, two of those teams, and then the New York Rangers between that. And he got another Stanley Cup with 2 rings now on his hand with the St. Louis Blues, and then now with the Florida Panthers. Now he's going to have a new home, and he's going to call in Michigan with the Detroit Red Wings. I believe he signed a 2 year contract at 4.75.
He did
4.8. Approximately the $5 million he got the last couple of years in NHL. Look, it's not a Tarasenko we knew, at his prime at 27, 28 with 30 goals a plus, but he brings some time now the experience in NHL. I think he could be a good third line. He can jump in on the top 6 if you need some, and you have some injury, everything like that. So he's really more versatile players now, and he's a little bit transformed his way he play in NHL. But I think he could become another scorer at 20, 25 goals. And sometimes you're increasing the goal, Mr. Tap. It all depends how he's going to play on the power play. So we'll see. I think the Detroit Red Wings, they was a little bit get money out of the pocket when they trade Wildman and a couple of other players to give up a little bit more leverage to sign a player. Did not hit very well at the UFA, but to get Tarasenko now, he was the best player on the rest of the UFA at this moment. And what do you think about that signature of Tarasenko?
Well, in terms of getting a skilled, experienced scorer, I mean, he definitely fits the bill. A little bit, like I mentioned in our last live show, Coach, a little bit puzzling to me what exactly direction Yzerman is taking here. It's hard to figure out. If you look at their lineup, I mean, could this be considered a, sort of a replacement for losing Perron in terms of his goals and leadership role that he had with the team? Because Perron was very good with the younger players. I mean, that's a possibility. But you still have some very aging players on the team. If you consider guys like Patrick Kane and Tarasenko, and then I still think their third and fourth line leave a little bit too much to be desired. And when you look at their defense, they still have Sherratt, who's as we know, both him and Petrie were with Montreal, and they're on with age. Oli Mata as well. They picked up Gustafsson. So really, the youngest guy they have there is Moritz Seider and Edvinsson. So I don't know. It's a bit perplexing to me where Eisenman's going this, but I'm sure he's got to have some kind of idea of where he's taking the team. But it's just hard to figure out.
It's like you trade the first round pick for Ronek. He come back and I don't know. I don't like the overview of the trade. He tried to make
Yeah,
to try to create that kind of chemistry together. We'll see. I disagree with the signature on Comfort and Andrew Cup at
right,
$1,000
right.
each, but I think they have, I think you should need a little bit better overall. Those two players for me, they are really good center, Mr. Tap, as the third center. That's what.
Yes,
Then the pipeline is
and
pretty strong, right? We know they have Soderblom, they have Casper, they have Danielson, three of this, and then they got the new one this year, Nigard. On the defenseman, we
Ligar,
already
yeah,
know they have Zeder and Edvinson on that part. But again, surprisingly, they give contract to Mata and Chariot and
yeah, and
Goaltender,
Petrie, and
so it's the rebuild of the Detroit is less successful like he did with the Tampa Bay Lightnings.
right, right. And I mean, I kind of understand he wants some experienced players that have decent leadership skills, but it seems there's an extreme with the youth that's coming up versus people or players that are at the tail end of their career. I think it's a little bit too much of a separation. If they were like in their maybe late 20s, early 30 at the most, that would have been a better fit until the younger prospects are ready to come up and join the team, because I think they have some excellent prospects in the system, and they're going to fit in very nicely. But I don't know. Right now, if I had to venture a guess, I don't think they've done enough so far to say that next year they jump into the playoffs.
Yep, so right. There's going to be a battle again, the same three teams, right? Ottawa, Detroit, and
Yeah,
Buffalo Sabre are going to find that spot to remove one of them, Boston, Toronto, and Florida, and Tampa Bay.
and New Jersey. Don't forget, New Jersey will be much improved,
Yeah, I'm
and they
talking
were
about
out of
Atlantic Division, so I can understand
right,
your
right.
point of view. We have an N26 Zeph Randy back in the house tonight. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being with us. Yes, Mata is right now with the Calgary Flame. I was just talking when
Yeah,
I get to
that's right.
him about that one. Detroit is in a panic mode. They are missed a playoff 8 years in the row. A rebuild fell at 10. And it was, hey, you're not wrong when you said that, N26. I think at that where they at Buffalo and it's three teams on top: Buffalo, Ottawa, and Detroit. If you look about how many years they don't make the playoff right now, it's really ridiculous. You think about that. So it take a long time, but they have to get the right team at the with great players together with chemistry to make the playoff. And during that time, Florida
It's
get
not
two
easy.
teams better: Toronto, Boston, and Tampa Bay.
Yeah, definitely. It's not easy to do, and you got to be very careful in terms of signing on players that are a little bit on in age, and more so, not so much the money, because I think some of these teams have the money to accommodate them. It's the longevity of the contract, the length of the contract, and they have to be careful that signing him to 5 years plus doesn't cripple the team down the road.
Yeah, great comment by Patrick. Said, name a good goaltender, and I will name you a good team. It's really relative on that one. I agree with you about that. Victor Maxwell is back in the house. Victor, hopefully you're doing well. Great comment, Martin Bazinet about the Detroit, and we'll see what happening about this. So I want to talk about Anton Lundell, the backup 2.0 for the Florida Panthers. Signed a great year, 6 years, $5 million. Is 22 years old. Why I want to talk about Lundell, but he satisfies really the center line behind Sam Bennett and Barkov. Barkov is really the elite player for the organization, the 200 way. He won the Selke Trophy. We have a Bennett, more aggressive with a forecheck. He can disturb the opponent team with the way he play. Great additional players on the playoff. And they have Lundell is between both of them. Less physical, but so smart. He's a little bit more play like the backup play right now with the Florida Panthers. So it's going to be a great asset. The 6 year, $5 million, guys. Look what we got. We gave Sakoski 8 years at 7.6. Now, when you think about this, Sakoski was the first overall pick. The role of Sakoski is higher at Lundell with the Florida Panthers. But that way open up my eyes more. I understand it's not saying compare a forward with a defenseman, but this is where you can see now a goalie get maybe a contract similar at 5 years with a Montreal Canadiens or 4 years when you go to hit the UFA. But this is going to be approximately that kind of number is going to get Coley with the Montreal Canadiens between $5 million to $6 million. I don't see him over $6 million.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the neighborhood we're looking at. Max, I would say 6.5, and that contract will come along at some point. It's just there's no rush right now to get it completed, but I think it'll happen sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely. About that one, we'll see what could
With
happen for
Yeah,
the.
with regards to Lundell, I think that was an excellent signing by Florida. Like every year, we've seen improvement in him. He's now right up the middle with Barkov and Bennett and Nazek as well. But he's third line. But I mean, here's a guy that's probably ready to accept a bigger role in Florida, and I think that's sort of what they're banking on.
Yeah, absolutely about that. Great comment in the chat. Don't consider to click on the like if you don't mind. That'd be great. We'll talk about Montreal in the next couple of minutes, guys. And I don't know if I have one more here. And I want to finish with the NHL news, guys. We can go all around the NHL news everywhere. The news signature. If we have more time, we'll talk about this at the end of the show. But I want to mention this because this is really where we became what the NHL targeting now.
History.
Jessica Campbell become the first woman to get a first time job regular behind the bench and with the Seattle Kraken. She's the first one. This is a great moment in the NHL history. And this happening with the Kraken. We know they had also assistant coach at Dan Bilsma, Bob Woods. Bob Woods is a really interesting story about him. When I was with the Mississippi Sea Wolves, the time was Bruce Boudreau. Bob Woods was a hockey player for the team, and he was a great leader. And so I think he was back and forth with American Hockey League, but he cannot play in American Hockey League. His talent was not there, but he became a really solid player in East Coast Hockey League. But he became very close with Bob Boudreau and then Bruce Boudreau. And then what happening about this, Mr. Tap, every time Boudreau got a job, remember, he go from Mississippi, he go to Lowell and American Hockey League, and then he go in NHL. Bob Wood follow him everywhere. It's a little bit like Gerard Gallin and Kelly, Mike Kelly together. Some, if you look about Paul Maurice with Cloman, if I think his last name is Cloman, he's assistant coach. This happening, Barry Trotz, example, with the goaltender, Kenan, Mike, what's his last name? they work together. So that's happening with Bob Woods. But now Bob Woods, Boudreau is not in the NHL. He still have a job now. He's sent coach with the Kraken. He's with my friend Steve Briere, the goalie coach for the Kraken also.
Okay.
But for Jessica Campbell to become that first woman, that's pretty unique. It's pretty amazing, in my opinion. That open again another more door for a woman to have a job in NHL.
Yeah, and it's probably long overdue as well. I mean, we have some very first of all, it's history making, and congratulations to her and for the Kraken to have given her that opportunity. I think we're getting much more knowledgeable if women in the game as well that know the game inside out and have shown that in many different areas, except in the coaching sphere when it comes to the NHL. So it's long overdue, and hopefully she'll have a successful career.
Absolutely about this. Great comments for the people in the chat, left and right. Zeph and M26 explain the reason they give a long term. The people talk about a 6 year contract for Danev. It's a big problem for the Toronto authority. But the problem is like the team like Pittsburgh and Toronto, example, they are stuck at the at the maximum salary cap. So what they try to do, Mr. Natat, is to give less money per year AAV, but longer to the contract. So that's
That's
the
right.
reason Letang got that kind of contract. Malkin and now Danev did it exactly with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And after that, and the next 2 3 years, guys want to hit the $100 million NHL salary cap. So this is a way to sign players and not to give them a $6 7 million, was 5 6 million, and to give protect their salary cap under the limits or the max about that one. So that's what we got, Mr. Tap around. If we have anything, if you have any question, guys, we go with the flow tonight. We don't have any specific plan to follow everything. We're going to go left and right. So any question, want to talk about NHL team, NHL draft, the free agency happening, or what's next, what's coming for the many team, or maybe for the Montreal Canadiens, specific players you want to talk about. It's time, and after that, he can answer to your question, and I will follow up with him.
We'll
Jeff,
try. We'll try.
yeah, we'll try the best we can. Jeff Skinner with the orders.
Yeah.
Martin talk about Columbus, Fantelli, and Caden Langstrom. I answer to that question. Well, that's that one there. Exactly. And 26 talk
Hoping.
about the situation of the Pittsburgh Penguins. I agree with you about this. RDP, Mr. Atta, back in the house. Welcome back.
Welcome.
Thanks to be with our Canadian Live show. Patrick Lawhite, Martin Monahan is not a risk if healthy is worth the money, and if he's injured, it will help a long-term injury reserve. Is good signing here. But it's not the way, Patrick, you go. Like I like your statement, so this is a good way with. But if he's not big, worst case, go long-term injury reserve. The team does not want to have those players to be on a
Yeah.
long-term injury reserve. Why? Because who will take the spot after that? Example, Patrick or Monahan. So it's not like, oh, we lose Monahan, it's not a big deal. We lose Carey Price. We got Montembeault, Caden Primo, and Jake Allen. And we suffer since Carey Price is gone. He's on the long-term injury reserve, it's not a big deal.
Plus,
It's, if you said, oh, McDavid got hurt, it's not a big deal. $12 million is a cap. Fine, we're going to be live. Who's going to be McDavid for the Oilers, Mr. Tap? They're going to get hurt.
in the time, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, and
go
the
ahead.
other thing, sorry to interrupt, but the other thing is you got to consider Monahan wanted to, I believe, go to Columbus, close to family again, wanted to reunite with Goudreau. Also, it was a team that gave him the longest term at 5 years, and we're going to probably talk later on about the approach that Hughes takes with certain UFAs, and it's quite different. And I agree with that approach more. 5 years is to me, it's a big gamble. You're taking a gamble that he's going to stay healthy the entire time. And as coach said, if he goes down, then who comes in and replaces him? That's what you have to worry about. But if he stays healthy, it's a great addition because you got Fantilli and you got Goudreau there as well, and maybe they can put together some nice some nice shifts there for the team, and see them move forward in a positive direction, because last year was a quite a bit of a disappointment for a number of reasons in Columbus. There were injuries, there were the issues around Laney as well. There was the defense had some issues as well, but the coaching debacle that happened at the beginning of the year, all of that came together, and we saw Columbus drop a lot further than we all anticipated. But hopefully, this can help solidify their standing a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that for sure. Again, Columbus was a bit the mess what they had got Mike back up as a coach last summer. Then you have the GM leave, and then you have Pascal Vincent did not deliver. They have a lot of mess, like a very difficult year for David Jiricek, questionable about the Vincent use him. Then the same situation with Ken Johnson around that. That team was really struggling with Pascal Vincent. So
Yeah,
we have a new way now with the new general manager Dan Lundell and the new head coach. So we see what could happen with the Columbus Blue Jacket. But at the end of the day, I think Monel is a good $5 million in center, a third center can play both. You look what he gave at Tarasenko. This is
yeah,
another plus play on the same level. Third line, second line, and Monahan is a little bit more versatile. Can solid. I think would bring leadership inside this organization they need. He's been with Goodrow a couple of years with the flank. That's another alias. And he would be a great asset for helping the Fantilli example, the Langstrom example, the Sillinger example, Chinnikov, and all the young gun they have over there.
yeah,
And this is a team of really solid pipeline prospect in the last couple of years. So it's a team if they can figure out the goaltending situation to have a better performance from the goal leagues. And I think there will be a team to looking for, and they have a better year this year, I believe, compared to the last two seasons for the Columbus Blue Jacket. I'll be shocked, Mr. Tap, as the Columbus are going to be a top five NHL draft next year. I don't see that for them. Now they maybe not make
yeah,
the playoff, but I think there will be a better team. I'll be like the Montreal select between 8 to 12 and the NHL draft at 2025. I understand, Patrick. Great comments about that. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like. That'd be awesome. We appreciate a lot about that. I think N26, a couple of people talking about Sidney Crosby. In my opinion, I don't see Crosby leave the Pittsburgh Penguins. First of all, you have a full close on his contract. Secondly, he begged to keep Letank, Malkin, and those players around him to stay in the Pittsburgh. That would be. It's not the way he is at Crosby. Look at his personality. All is about great manners. I would be shocked Crosby leave. And the Pittsburgh Penguins tradition, history, they keep their players at home. Lemieux, and I can go away like that. So I'll be shocked to see Crosby. The only way can Crosby decide in 2 years when he become UFA next year to say, you know what, now I would like to finish my career some location, but
yes,
I'll be
yes.
shocked. I still don't see Crosby to another jersey in NHL. So that's my
If
feel about
I
that.
think I think if he had not won a cup, that may have been a very viable option, something that he may have requested. But if Crosby gets moved, it's because Crosby's asked to be moved. It's not going to happen from the organization until he's retired. I mean, this guy. If you think about a coach, he's a specimen, right? Like this guy stays in shape. The amount of time he puts into his game, and the type of leadership that he brings to the team, the effort that he puts in, like really, he doesn't. If you consider it, what the team has, he doesn't have a lot of pieces to work with, and yet his stats really don't suffer that much. Every year, he's producing as much as he could at the current age that he is now. I would say even the last 2 years, he's gone beyond that in my eyes. He's returned back to all-star elite form in my eyes. So I think he's there to stay unless he wants out at some point. But I doubt that as well. He's not the kind of guy that requests that.
And 26, he believed Crosby would sign a 4 years contract at 40 million, 10 million per year.
I mean, it's up the alley. It's not like an absurd amount. Again, 4 years isn't the end of the world in terms of longevity. But right now, what's his age right now?
35 maybe.
35.
I could be
I
wrong.
mean, yeah, you're kind of knocking on the door there. But
It's
you know what? Like I said earlier, because he's in such great shape, kind of like Ovechkin. That's the reason why they've been able to go as long as they have. They're just in such phenomenal shape, and their mindset is just where it needs to be. I could see that. I could definitely see that.
36 Mr. Tap, so I apologize.
36.
Yeah,
So it
I
brings them
confused
to
about
40.
35. We have a new subscriber, Mike Freeberg, Mr. Tap. We just hit, guys, 7,980 subscriber. We have a 20 subscriber, guys, to get the 8,000. So with other people in the chat,
Let's do it.
ask someone you know as a friend to sign at the channel here. So we try to get the 8,000. That would be amazing. This is a great run we did, Mr. Tap, here the last
Oh,
2, 3
absolutely.
weeks. We get more viewers. We have a lot of people who join us. So thanks so much to you, um, to your support the
Subscription.
channel. So
Yeah.
A2 is in the house. About that, thanks so much for all the correct me. I said 35 was 36. About that, not sure how to feel about the woman in NHL coaching job. I see obvious issue with it, but time would tell. I don't see that A2. I don't
Yeah.
see no problem. They have a lot of smart women now in hockey. Look about the NCAA left and right. You have a lot of women now coaching in the American Hockey League. I think at that moment, I don't see no problem. I think she does his job. Like anything else, you have a lot of referee now, more referee and the linesman and an American Hockey League with women. With women, take a little bit more longer, mais sometimes to reach that level in NHL. But I think for me, I don't see no problem with Jessica Campbell. Have a great resume, and she's going to be fine and she's going to bring another result. And that way, helping the game also, not because she's a woman, but the way she, her behavior behind the bench and what she have an ID. So open about a new days like that, Mr. Top. I have no problem with that part. So thanks so much,
Yeah,
Victor. I'm going to give
it's
you an
about
answer.
growing
Go ahead.
it's about growing the game, and this is going to open up more doors, not just to the professional women's league, but also to the NHL itself. So I'm all for that. I think I understand some of the reservations you might have, A2Z, but I don't see them as huge issues.
Same situation, I believe, for me. Um, I'm going to jump in two questions before we continue with the news from our talking. And Victor talk about Josh Anderson to bounce back, and then also possible trade him at the trade line. What you thought about Josh Anderson for the upcoming season, and what could be a trade?
Well, when you look at it on the surface, I mean, I agree with the fact that, knock on wood, I don't think he can reproduce as bad a year as he did last year. In all fairness, and I don't mean to cut him down with that, but the problem's going to be, where is he going to play? On what line is he going to play? I don't see him in the top six, obviously. So you're looking either at the third line or the fourth line, probably more realistically. So given that you're going to have less ice time, you're going to be in less specialized situations like the power play. Definitely not on the power on the penalty kill. So he's probably, his minutes are probably going to drop, but I think I mean his shooting percentage has got to get better. I mean last year he would have missed the net with a beach ball, but I think that was just a one-off more than anything. I think he can return to about 15, 16, 17 goals. I think he has that in him, but yeah, I don't think it'll worsen.
Right, absolutely about that. For me, I will say to you, I see an Anderson to get a 15 goal with the Montreal Canadiens for upcoming year. I think he's going to be fine. He's going to be bring what the Montreal does not have a size. I think he have a lot of hope about Anderson. But first of all, he's get married. He have a new ways now. He forget last year. Going to have a new refresh mind I think so. And I think Montreal fans are going to not bother him at all at the beginning. I think he's going to be around with have a great role with the Montreal Canadiens as a third line. Then I think overall he's going to get, like I said, 15. It's a little bit like people compare Gallagher last year, came back with a
Yeah.
15, 16 goal last year, 15 assists for 31 points after really 3 years with he was not healthy. So Gallagher respond back. Anderson can fit with that kind of point season, 15, 17 goal, 31, 32 point overall. I think I would not be surprised that Anderson reached that one. Now they are not stuck, but because he can run a 5.5, it's not easy to trade Anderson. And in nowhere and no time, Montreal Canadiens under Jeff Gordon and Kent Hughes are going to give up players. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So don't expect that part. They're really great on the way they trade the players, and they were going to take at least wait to the right moment. They are not in the situation to panic or the salary cap problem. So until they don't have that kind of problem, Mr. Tap,
Yeah.
Anderson fit where he is right now. To lose another 6-3 example, and then to add another 5-10, it's not looking good when you already have a Gallagher, RHP, a Caulfield, and then you have a couple of forward, a 5-10, 5-11. So I don't think so. I think Anderson will be with the Montreal Canadiens all the way for next season. And it could be now more easier to trade Anderson when you have a 1 year remaining after that. They have 2 years at the end of the day, but they a bit more leverage for Kent Hughes to make a move if it's the case. If not, Montreal Canadiens again next year are going to be not open up too much spot at the end of the day. So we'll see what happens. But this is my thought about Josh Anderson. We'll see what happens about this. Crosby won first year $12 million, 2 year $12 million, third year $10 million, 4 years $6 million for Anderson. I can understand you $10 million. Ovechkin get is $9.5 million and 26. I think you'll be right overall. I don't see no
Yeah,
problem
you
with that.
front load it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I
front load
think
it.
it could be that way for there. So it's a great news, and the Drake Waller would have to see Crosby Ovechkin with from team. Crosby played under 5 seasons like he retired. Send Anderson and draft a choice for Columbus for Laney. One Berger signed him. He had 4 goals the year prior, then bounced back with an injury. That was the reason behind that. So let's go with Mr. Top, NHL player. We're at the half of the show already. Thanks. Any question, guys? It's time to pop up. Your question, I'm going to answer you. But we're going to announce they have a new job for Alex Burrows and Lance Kopiskowski. 2 new additional player development for the Montreal Canadiens. We know Burrows was behind the bench with the Montreal Canadiens in the last 3 seasons. Before prior that, he was with the Laval Rocket. Decide to stay around his family, take care about his family, don't want to travel around. This is where they are in Montreal Canadiens. Again, Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon and also Molson, not afraid to hire people to give all the tools they need for the player to get better inside of the organization. So to have two more that title, join, listen, Bouillon, Lapointe,
Yeah.
Pellerin, Nicolas. This is a great news. They're going to take care about the players in Laval Rocket, the young player for the Montreal Canadiens, plus the one they can go around and like NCAA, follow up all of them. So we don't forget Le Cavalier on the video, and I can go all the way. So Montreal Canadiens focus on that one, and then they return of the Daniel Jacob as a Senko for
Hmm.
the Laval Rocket. Jacob was hired by Marc Bergeron a couple years ago with the Laval Rocket, and then he left, follow his buddy. Um, uh, I forget his name. I can see his face. And then he's with the Syracuse Crunch. And now he's going to now returning with the Laval Rocket. So great signature for the Laval Rocket. They still will see who could become the assistant coach for the Montreal Canadiens, or maybe nobody else. We'll see. But I think now we have to wait who is going to become the head coach of the Laval Rocket, Mr. Tap. Anything you want to talk about that news?
Again, and not surprising in terms of the direction they're taking from everything I had heard about Jacobs and Korpikoski. Both very intelligent individuals. Burrows joins that team as well. When you're when you're a historic team like Montreal, and I think they're finally doing the right thing, and they're surrounding themselves with the best of the talent that's out there. Whether it's in scouts, it's coaching, whether it's in player development, whatever the case might be. They're seeking these kind of players. They're hiring them when the opportunity comes, and that's where a lot of the best decisions are made. We don't see these decisions being made and how they contribute to the team, but it's such a holistic approach that they're taking and making sure that everybody has a voice. Of course, at the end of the line, there's always, the general managers and eventually even the owner that has to make decisions in terms of salaries and players that they're going to finalize, whether it's contracts or draft. But they listen, and they listen to everybody and what their input is. They put them in situations where they respect what contributions they give back, and that's their primary jobs. So I'm glad they've gone this direction, and it took quite a while, because when we had the previous regime, a lot of the decisions and a lot of the work was made by one individual primarily, with some of the head scout and so on, and it was far too much for Bergevin to accept, and you have to surround yourselves also with people that you can work with, because you can respect each other's opinions that way. You're not afraid to be a bit contrarian sometimes with opinions that one person has without getting offended. You have to sort of rebound things off of each other, because in the end, you have to make the best decision possible for the team.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. A couple of people knocked the door. Mr. Marco is in the house. Welcome back, Marco. Hopefully, you had an amazing
Hey,
birthday
Marco.
on your traveling over there. Bob Ultraman is in the house. Mr. Tap. Welcome back, Bobby. Thanks with us. I like the conversation, the chat. Dewsby talk about Gary Cornoyer, the best driver UPS in the world, is in the house tonight. Welcome back. I can wait to see Gary travel UPS with a plane. You know what I mean? We'll see if it happen about that. Sean McIntyre is in the house. A great question about
Welcome.
Laney, about Gallagher and Armia. I think, Sean, for the situation for that one, I think as a coach, you try to favorize a little bit your, not favorite, but I think it's better for the coach at the beginning of the season to put your veterans, give them a little bit a chance to performing more, and then see what they look like, and then they can bring back down if it's the case. So Gallagher will be Anderson, Christopher Rack, I believe, and then Armia is going to be with Jake Evans and the rest. Pesada, RHP at that moment. For that,
Yeah.
New Hook, Doc, and Roy. And then you have Zuski, Sakoski, and Caulfield. This is my 12 players for the Montreal Canadiens at that moment, Sean. And then you can adjust if you have to, but that's what. So Tony DeMarc. I would like Tony. You have to change your name at Tony. Tony the Dagger. I think it'll be appropriate about that one at Tony if you go there. Get ready for the moment, guys. Evan Davidov, I'm sorry about this. Martin Bazinet, retour avec nous ce soir. Any news for the Winnipeg Jets, M. Tap, for Ragar McCarthy? Yeah.
Rucker McGroarty. Yes, he's still one of the four names that's floating out there in terms of maybe Montreal doing something about. But like I said before, they're in no rush to get anything done. If something does materialize and it makes sense for the team, then Hughes is going to pull the trigger. But I don't expect him to pay, like I said before, a king's ransom to try to get any of these four players. And the guys I'm talking about are him and Natchez of Carolina, Laney, and probably even Capo Caco is apparently the Rangers are still trying to shop him around and see what's happening, but nothing definitive out there. I think as time goes on, if we go back to Rucker, I think as time goes on, it's better leverage for Hughes and some of the other teams. Right now, the problem is you got about five or six teams that are also in competition. So you don't want to play that type of game because it becomes one-upmanship, and in the end, you end up overpaying for a player that you could have had for a little bit cheaper. So we'll see if they can pick him up. I mean, he would be my first choice if Montreal could get Rutger. That would be fantastic. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see if Winnipeg lowers the price tag a little bit.
No, yeah, sorry about that. I agree with you about those comments. But again, we have to wait what could happen for the next year. A lot of comments in the chat. Thanks, Marco. I answered to your question. At News, the development camp, we are right now full this moment for the Montreal Canadiens. Three players for me, I really like the interview is Jacob Fowler, Michael Edge, and of course, Owen Beck. They are really the three players I'm looking for the development camp. We have a lot of tryout players coming. Uh, Florent Jacquard is there. You have Quentin Myler, goaltender. I can
Mm-hmm.
go the way they invited players, guys. You have to watch it. It's Winterberg. I think it's Alexander Winterberg. I'm going to down a little bit more. It was one of the players undrafted, really the top best three players to be selected or get a tryout, and he got it. So we'll be interesting what could happen in the sense of that. But overall, maybe a 1 minute talking about the Montreal Canadiens development camp. If you have anything you want to add.
Yeah, with I mean, I listened today. They interviewed both Beck and Haig, uh, both very very mature players. You can tell that when Montreal seeks players to draft, that they're doing their homework. There's a type of player that they're after, and these guys are fitting the bill in terms of the maturity, the ability for them to want to play in a bit of a pressure cooker like Montreal, with the media and the fanfare there. With Fowler, you saw he looks much more athletic this year. I don't know if you noticed that as well, Coach. To me, it seemed like he's a little bit fitter than he was last year, but he looks so athletic right now. Last year, he had more of, still a young man's body and features, but this year he's really coming into his own. Hopefully, he has another very successful year, and that'll help them out as well down the road because they're banking on Fowler to be eventually their go-to goaltender when he's ready. And again, the both interviews with Haig and Beck, I was really set aside by their ability to take questions. They answered it very maturely. They weren't just cliche lines. They were well thought out answers that they gave that showed that they're they're in the process of doing the right things. They love the fact that they're in Montreal, the both of them, and look forward to the opportunity in whatever capacity the team puts them in. So again, these are guys that, with that maturity, are thinking about the logo in the front and not the name in the back at this point. So that's a definite good sign.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that one. There are a couple of people talk about this, Robert. Talk about Dimitrov when raising was a visa. Secondly, he have a SKA start July 14th is camp about that one for that one. Question, Marco, for Marco, before we move on the subject of the night, Mr. Nartap. Why would you have Evans sign a big UFA next year if they are even room for someone under top six? I think if they trade for one more top six, I think the team is set.
Yeah, if you get somebody like either in Natchez, or you get somebody like McGroarty, that's the perfect fit that you want in terms of semi-established, and they're coming into the league at the right age group that fits together with what we have. Um, you're gonna be dispensing with some big contracts at the end of this year coming up. So that's a good sign. It opens up some spaces for some other prospects. I would not discount, obviously, one or possibly two at the most free agents that they might go after next year, simply because they'll have the money for it. And if it makes sense in terms of completing the team and completing the lines that they're trying to establish a little bit more in cement, then it's an opportunity for them to dip in and not have to worry about necessarily term or money for that matter.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that one over there. For that, um, and 26, they talk about the people in the circumstances talking about each one of them. So that's good to have all the conversation. That's it. Don't forget, guys, click on the like. I will start with that one. The second contract, 8 years extension. Fill many things for the Kent Hughes and the Montreal Canadiens organization. He could ask for more money in the next 2 years. It's like he want to go only for money. But you can see during his interview, he talked about he loved Montreal, he loved the fans, he loved to be around those players, and he want to win with them. And for him, the money was not his first priorities after he got that kind of money. So at the end of the day, for him, it was really now focusing on the team concept. This is what is Sakowski personality. That's been that way since he signed his contract. It's all about team, 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 team. He proved it again to respect Caulfield. Is his key to get a little bit lower. He's only 22 years old, only 19 to 20 years old. So he's going to get a long-term contract anyway, a second contract in NHL, no problem. That being said, that because the Sakowski fit very well the first line under $24 million, Suzuki, Caulfield, and Sakowski. To talk about my next exercise, the next exercise, guys, the title of the show tonight was Patient Fans, One More Year. I'm going to give you the number, what I said, patient, one more year, and why the rebuilding the Montreal Canadiens is not done yet. Well, it's not done yet. Here, the reason behind that, Mr. We're going to get that graphic here. And first of all, you have to know, Kent Hughes said with Jeff Gordon, they said, if we have a chance to get a UFA, but we're going to sign him. If it's not, it's okay. So, but they put a limit. The limit, it was a deal of 3 years. That was the limit of the player they was targeting. Why? Because they believe Montreal Canadiens in 3 years only are going to be a solid team in the NHL. I know some of you said already, no. Playoff next year, playoff next year. No. That's what Kent Hughes, Jeff Gordon have on the vision at the long-term Montreal Canadiens. So the 3 years was fit very well with Jonathan Marchessault. There was the targeting. There was the name. Really, there was one the Montreal Canadiens to get a Marchessault with them. I'm a little bit disagree me because the size of Marchessault, but he delivered 40 plus goal this year with the Vegas Golden Knight. I think it would be a great additional player for the Montreal Canadiens, but the size would be my problem about him. At the end of the day, Marchessault did not come with the Montreal because he got a deal of 5 years. Montreal was completely keep their project to go only at 3 years for that UFA, and that's the reason they don't get anything else during the period of UFA. That's the same thing like that. If you want to add something about this, Mr. Tap, go. If not, I'm going to move on with the number.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's trying not to put yourself in a situation that if you make a mistake with a particular deal, that it's a long term mistake that will cripple the team down the road. So, totally the right point of view. And as I mentioned earlier, when we were talking about Owen Beck and Haig as well. And now we talked about Slavkovsky. You can relate that to Caulfield. You can relate it to Suzuki. These are all players, and look at the common denominator in all of it, right? It's about patience. It's about buying into the system. It's about believing that they're playing for the team and not themselves necessarily, and that they can accomplish something big together. And that's the right kind of attitude. And I always mention go with character players. It's something that is very hard to detect, but once you get to know the player, and it takes you exercising your due diligence and really exploring these players before you draft them, or even through trade, but more so when you draft them to make sure that they fit the mold with which you want to develop the team, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing players that right now are playing for the team and not themselves.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that one over there. Now, people in the show we're talking about they were wreck Amir Gallagher, everything. They are not bothered the Montreal Canadiens right now. They still have enough money until Carey Price on the long-term injury reserve to continue to growing as a team. Now, here's Mr. Tab, the 2025. What would happen? During the year next year, Mr. Tab, they're going to get over 80 million more money, $1 million more money to spend. And this is not including guys carry price. This is because they're
Right.
going to get now out the contract of Savard, Amia, Devorak, and I think you have a Pesera, and I missed one on the top six on the forward for the Montreal Canadiens. So that open up, guys, $18 million Montreal can spend next year. The UF3 is huge. Trisado, Manor, Konechny, Crosby, Rantanen, Verhey. And I can go all the way with more, Mr. Attack. Yes, most of them are going to resign with their team,
Team that they're,
right?
yeah.
So I'm not said, but my point behind that, guys, is the extensions coming from Montreal Canadiens next year. They have to sign Kaden Coley, Iris RHP is trouble. It's not a big deal for the last three, maybe one or two, maybe three of them are not going to be with Montreal Canadiens, but they have to extend Coley. So you have to reserve
Yeah.
some kind of money for those kind of players with the Montreal Canadiens. If you put all four together, example, it's approximately $10 million they have to spend. If not, whatever you said, another players like Iris, IHP, or Strubble, but you have to pay the new players coming with Montreal Canadiens. So those kind of reservations, you have to be careful. Secondly, Mr. Antap, I believe, in my opinion, Montreal they need to finish at the bottom again. Now, I understand the bottom for me now, it's not maybe not top five, but I hope they can finish at the bottom eight. So they can get an additional for top six forward. The 2025 is great on the NHL draft. A lot of forward, Mr. Attack. If they can get a pick between 6 to 8 next year, I will extend to 10, but I will not like it. I think Montreal Canadiens, and that's how you put the key in the door. This is over. The rebuild is over. The pipeline is set in on all area of those what they have. I think there will be a great additional year for the Montreal Canadiens if the way I see that. So for me, one more year to wait for a little bit. Montreal are going to targeting maybe a solid player at a UFA. I'm not saying they're going to do it. I'm not done here in September. I'm going to go now the next year and 2026, 2 years now. See, and the track guys, I said, can you think about 3 years? He's going to add, Mr. Tap, $16 more million and the salary cap. Why? Because now you're going to have the Zapier contract with the Montreal again, carry price example, Mr. Tap. $10 million right there. They have a Saba, they're going to have Madison out, Mr. Tap, on that one, and they have RHP, they are out. Not RHP, I think it's another players are going to get the $60 million. Anyhow,
Yeah.
that year, Mr. Tap, they have to pay Kirby Doc, Logan Mayu, Joshua Roy, and Lane Hudson.
Yeah.
They
That's a
need
lot of
that kind of
money.
money, Mr. Tap, to spend those guys. Those players right now can add at least $16 to $20 million. So you have to be careful if you add a UFA. And 2026, the target again, 2026, you're going to get again. I think that's the last year of Matthews and NHL contract. But again, this is the kind of player to get. And finally, my third year, Mr. Tap, and 2024, 2027. 12 more million is going to open up Montreal Canadiens. Why? Because now you're going to lose Anderson and Gallagher, and all the bad contracts are out of the Montreal Canadiens. And they're going to have Sonny Escher, David Rebacker, and Alex Newhook at the pipeline for the Montreal Canadiens. Two players going to increasing, of course, their salary cap. So, yes, you can sign a UFA, but Montreal is a little bit more limited, Mr. Tap. The good things for them, Mr. Tap, is if you look about the salary cap in NHL the next 3 years, and 2025, next
It's
year,
going to increase.
Montreal talking about the NHL talking about possible $93 million. Talk about 2026, Mr. Tap, we talk about $98 million, and 2027, the salary cap is going to be over $100 million. Point behind that, Mr. Tap, it fit well on the way the Montreal are building the template of salary cap. The Caulfield, Sakaski. That's what the reason I said Sakaski is huge for the Montreal Canadiens and would be not easy to figure out which one can have more at $8 million inside Montreal Canadiens. By the way, the Dimitar is going to kick possible the year after that his contract. So if you think about this, Mr. Yes, they have money. Yes, they have enough money to pay the player they have in the pipeline. And yes, they can
Mhm.
slightly to get maybe a one or two player UFA to join the Montreal Canadiens or make a trade, Mr. Tap. When we talk about the money, guys, it's not only UFA, Mr. Tap. It's to get maybe a trade to get players at $7-8 million now join the Montreal Canadiens. An example like the Florida did with Kachuk example, whatever their trade in NHL. So this is the big picture at the next 3 years, and that's the reason behind that. The purpose of why Ken Hughes said we can stay in the next 3 years to get maybe a UFA this year, but we cannot sign any one of them over 3 years. So that's now give you another idea why the reason Ken Hughes mentioned that during his interview. We cannot go over 3 million 3 years contract 3 years contract over. That's the reason they did not get Marshall. So there was the reason they don't want to give a 4 years of Senkos or Guanzel at 6, 7, 8 years. And finally, for that one, Montreal are rebuilding again this year. I don't see any movement a lot in Montreal Canadiens. And I think at the end of the day, Mr. Tab, this is the template I can use a long term. So I put you a lot of things and on the
Holy
graphic,
smokes.
everything like that. But maybe you can sharing. I know the feed is floating right now,
Yeah.
but I look at when I talk that way, I see on the camera straight. And then I would like to hear your first opinion about what I just did as an exercise for the Montreal Canadiens.
Well, you presented us with a lot of information there. There's a lot to unfold here, Coach. First off, we talked about yes, the maximum 3 years deals, and that makes total sense. That's why they didn't. You didn't see Hughes being very active in this year's UFA market. Makes total sense to me. I'm glad that they didn't jump in and do something stupid like that. Um, I think with the money that is exiting over the next 3 years from either expiring contracts or players that may be traded, they have enough money there to cover that. It's important that they have to look at the whole picture, and they have to look at the development of the players that they have already drafted and obtained and have on the team. You have to see how these players fit together. You have to see where there may be a gap or an area of concern, and not just go out there on the UFA and say, okay, well, you know what, I'm going to go spend $10 million on this player because he has, the pedigree to help out. That doesn't necessarily work. And we saw in the playoffs, and we see it every year. It's the team that has the depth and the role players that tend to go the furthest, and I would even say win the Stanley Cup as sort of the cherry on top. To me, it's let's see what happens with these players that we do have. Let's see how they work out. First of all, there's no need to rush into the market at this stage. I think that they've acquired enough assets now. The only thing I wouldn't say I would push back, Coach, but I wouldn't 100% agree with what you said was we have to finish in the bottom eight again. I think part of creating that culture is creating a winning culture, and we've seen in the last couple of years that there has been improvement, albeit small margins, but they have to be at a stage where they are going to push to the max and see what these players can give you. They may not make the playoffs, as we said before. The Eastern Conference, there's more teams on the rise than there are teams on the decline at this moment. So it's hard to say, hey, our goal this year. I mean, the goal is always to make the playoffs, but realistically speaking, I don't think it happens this year, right? If anything, it happens maybe the year after in 2027. So you have to see how this current group gels together, how they work together, and as you're losing the players with a bad contract, then you're filling in the spots first internally and seeing how that works out. And then if there are gaps somewhere, then you approach the UFA market or the trade market, and you acquire the piece that helps round out the team in with depth. I think that's the key thing. One thing we haven't spoken about here in these 3 years plan, coach, is goaltending. Hopefully Fowler will be ready come, let's say, 2026, 2027, and he'll be in a position to take over. Otherwise, that might be one area that they have to look into. But
Monsieur Tap,
overall,
Monsieur Tap,
yes, sir.
when
You're always one step ahead. I know.
when I have a problem with that one, Monsieur Tap.
Okay.
Here we go. You got that one, Mr. Tap. All the pipeline
Right.
for the Montreal Canadiens forward for the roster 2025, 2026, Mr. Tap, for the Montreal Canadiens. So that give you an idea what they get into next year. And before I apologize, I stop you, but the people in the chat are all agree. Montreal need to develop again. They need to see what they look like. The Mayu, the Rebacker, the Roy, those young players when the Montreal Canadiens. Also,
Yeah.
same situation with Coley and Jacky. Those young players from the Montreal Canadiens. Sakaski is another one. New Hook. It could be that. I think A2 bring a great point, Mr. Tap. The key of the season, Montreal Canadiens next year, is really the Kirby Doc. The Kirby Doc could be that kind of player, can make a big, huge impact of the overall season for Montreal Canadiens. If he stay healthy, that would bring a lot of great contents, a great season for the Montreal Canadiens. But if you look about the roster next year, Mr. Tap, talking about Dimitrov, Doc, Roy. Now, again, this just give you the players there. It's not like a line by line, but that's what we got. Kafelski and Sakaski. We have New Hook and Beck. That give you, Mr. Tap, right now, 8 forward for the Montreal Canadiens. That's not, and you can have another rookie or you can have a veteran player we already have right now in the lineup for the Montreal Canadiens. On defenseman, Mr. Tap, I remove Madison. You can put Madison there. I remove Strobel. You can put Strobel there too. But look what you have. Coley, Rebacker, Hudson, Mayu, Jacquard, and Barron. So that gives you an idea, Mr. Tap, what they look like already in 2025, 2026. To do that, now we're getting a little bit better what the template and the rebuilding. And when I said the rebuilding is finished that year, because now you're going to get another NHL draft. You're going to have the development of Michael Edge one more year, and then you have the development of the new players going to sign next year at the NHL draft first round. So you can see that. And we don't talk about the Jackai, the Farrell. We don't talk about Mezar. We don't talk about Kapanen yet because, Mr. Tap, like you said, I'm thinking about everything. And what I did, Mr. Tap, I gave you the pipeline for the Montreal Canadiens. And the pipeline for me is really a Doc, Jackai, Kapanen, Engstrom, Strobel. I put Strobel here as another young player for the Montreal Canadiens. Then you have Fowler as a goaltender, like you mentioned to you. And the reason I didn't put Fowler because only one as a goaltender compared to other players. Fowler, in my opinion, is going to be ready for the Montreal Canadiens in 2026, 2027. He's going to be another year with the Boston College this year. You can see right now Leonard and Perrault decide to returning with the college next year, with the Boston College next season. I think Fowler is going to be a great asset for the Montreal Canadiens. On that year, 2026, I will give him 1 year with Boston this year. The following year, I believe, he's going to be with the Laval Rocket, and the following year is going to be with the Montreal Canadiens. That year number 3, we're talking about the window around that. So I apologize, I close you, I cut you, but you can finish your point of view about that.
No, that's exactly. I didn't know you were going to present that as well. But like I said, the pipeline's important because you need to know as players. For this year, you had, I think, 3, 6. I think you had 8 forwards up there listed. So obviously, the other ones are going to be maintained by, the Evans, the Gallagher, the Anderson, maybe RHP. those kind of players that will fill in, but you know that they're not going to be a permanent part of the puzzle come 2 years down the road from this year. So of course you're waiting for the pipeline to feed into it and see how these guys fit together. Now we don't know. Some players may develop extremely well and a lot quicker than we anticipate. Others might take a lot longer to develop. That's all part of giving them the opportunity so you can properly evaluate the assets that you have. It's all about asset management here. And ideally, if you can get, let's say by 2026 or 27, you get your first line with, let's say, Slavkovsky, Suzuki, and I would put Demidov up there, followed by Caulfield, Doc, and Michael Hage if he works out to be a top six. Then you have Newhook, Beck, and Roy. I think that you have three solid lines right there, and your defense we already established that are going to be extremely solid. Even if one of the defensemen or two even don't develop to our expectations or what everybody anticipated, I still think we have enough pieces there that can fill in the gaps of that lack of development. So I'm not overly concerned about the defenders because I think we'll have some excellent pieces to go with. And like you said, the ones coming through the pipeline will help fill in those role positions that we're talking about, like the guys like Fleury and Jacky and a few others on there as well. So it's exciting to me. I think that it's looking at what we have, it's promising, and I think we have the right people in place. They're the players that we've selected and have are being developed in the proper manner for the most part, and hopefully Demidov will be here after his 1 year that he still has to play overseas, and we're gonna see this move along quite well. I personally think in terms of the draft coach, I think, yeah, would it be nice to have another top 5 or 6 pick? Yes, it would, of course, because you could get another extremely talented player out of it. Is it necessary? I don't think so. I think we're going to have enough pieces, and we can address areas that are a little bit weaker or not well rounded by other ways. That I think it's more important at this stage that we think, let's try to push and win as many games as we can, even if it means that we're not going to make the playoffs for 1 year, and see where are these players that we have now, are they able to raise the bar a little bit for themselves and for the team in general. And I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. So that comments in the chat. I just want to clarify one thing. When I put Roy, Dak, and Dimitrov together, guy, it was not a line. It was just a
Yeah, yeah.
young player there. So
The
I don't
pipeline,
want to
yeah.
talk about the line. You can put any name over there or just give you the little bit of what they look like in 25, 26, the roster for the Montreal Canadiens. So I just want to clarify that because people say, oh, he should be there, everything like that. And for the rest, I never said who will be a top six. I think for who could become a solid, good top nine in NHL for
9.
sure. Beck for me could become a third center in NHL. Everything turn around. We see the time or the progression and the development. But as a Montreal Canadiens fans, guys, the fact they add Michael Edge and Dimitrov, this is a big impact on the forward. I think
Huge.
Michael Edge is going to be 2 years and NSA. I would not be surprised
Rush him. Yeah.
about that. And of course, he did not get invited for the Team Canada for the World Championship, so a little bit disappointed about that. But I can understand the the lineup they have for the Team Canada. And I don't see this a step back for Michael Edge. Honestly, he missed on 1 full year at 17 years old. That's maybe another reason. A lot of people, guys, put in the house. We have a new person. Enza is in the house. Thanks so much. Very kind of your comments about the channel. We appreciate a lot. Everybody, guys, you don't mind to click on the like, that'd be awesome. And we are approximately 20 likes to get 20 people subscriber to reach the 8,000. So if you know some people would like to join a channel, this is what we do every time we pop up here talking about Montreal Canadiens or NHL. You can see the quality of the people, Mr. Tap, in the chat exchange their opinion about every subject, and they nail it all the time. So we have a really grateful. They are Curtis
Absolutely.
back in the house, Sean back in the house, also a Boomerang, and many others. So Francois Pitt is another one. Peter Poinsono knocked the door also for the Montreal Canadiens. Chris back again. So again, if we put this together, when I say Mr. Tap, another top 10 for me is the development of Montreal Canadiens at long term. I think sometimes you're not going to hit all the time the target on the home run on your
Sure.
top. So example, we don't know if Dimitrov is going to be a 90 point. The chance is going to become is great, but whatsoever, I think another channel top 9 and could be like if you think about a Ren Leonard with the Washington Capital 8th overall pick last year. If you can get that kind of
Hmm.
players at the top 10 next year, a fourth checker, another Blake Coleman example, another player where he bring some grits where we don't have for the Montreal Canadiens at the top pipeline for the Montreal Canadiens. We have a lot of great talented skilled players, but someone really more play more in the playoff, bring some kind of aggressivity in the game. Sam Bennett,
Hmm.
Kachuk, example for the Florida Panthers, right? So if you can get that kind of player on the top 10, I still believe the roster Montreal Canadiens is not ready to become an NHL player. A lot of hope for the fans. I can understand that, but we still have guys the same goaltender. We still have Kirby Dak and improve the team, yes. But think about this and stuff.
We need
If
to
you
see it. We need to
add a
see it.
Kirby Dak, right? You know, will give you 10 more W at the end of the night. It's going to give you maybe 4, 5 more W. That will increase in the Montreal Canadiens of 8 to 10 points. So they still have an 85 point. 85 point, guys, is this is a bottom 10, 12 NHL draft at the end. So if Montreal can hang in there and think about what happened in the Atlantic Division, after what they look like, the Detroit what they look like, but again, the Boston Bruins bring home a Zatarab. Look what it looked like. The Fleur Panthers, whatever they lost Montour, they bring out Schmidt and they bring another defenseman. Plus, they have still some kind of player they have. So this is not going nowhere. Toronto, who they are, it's a season team. That's it. That's all. So it don't go nowhere. And Tampa Bay Lightning, guys, whatever they lost Sergachev, they still have McDonald anyway, and it's going to be another good team in the NHL. Put this all together, guys. Montreal going to compete at the bottom of the Atlantic Division, and the Metropolitan Division, guys, is getting better too. New Jersey is going to be a better team. Islanders is now going to be a better team, I think, in my opinion. Zorokin is going to bounce back, Mr. Tap, like you never saw that next year, particularly what behind the bench over there. The Flyers is going to be dropped, in my opinion, for that one. Washington will be hanging there like they did this year, in my opinion. But the Columbus is going to become a better team at that Metropolitan Division. So Montreal Canadiens with Flyers are going to be at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. Maybe with another team there. That's 3 teams over there. On the Western, you have Anaheim, San Jose, Chicago. 3 teams right now compete with the Montreal Canadiens. I believe, Mr. Tap, Utah will be better. I think Arizona is going to be better at Montreal overall. So Montreal Canadiens, guys, whatever you hope and your excitement, and I hope I'm wrong, Mr. Tap. I'm more realistic, me. I apologize, guys. I've always been that
Yeah.
way.
Well,
I'm not a guy
the,
jumping on the ceiling and then come back with 2 flip over Mr. Tap, and then I fall on my head. Sometimes I did,
yeah.
but on the subject. But at the end of the day, Mr. Tap, I predict that way, and I think that will be the way I see the Montreal Canadiens next season. Again, it would be more fun to watch them. It would be more excited to have a Kirby Dak, more excited to have maybe a Rebecca, Lane Hudson, or a Mayu. But the foundation is still there with those veterans at the bottom 6, and we have to carry on them for one more year. That's the reason, the purpose of the show tonight. One more year, Mr. Tap, to be patient.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I still think you're going to get some teams that are going to be a bit of a surprise that fall off. Not all the rebuilds that are happening are going to be success stories. But you're right. Like realistically, we're not necessarily looking at a playoff team this year, or necessarily even one that is knocking on the door just yet. But you have to see improvement from year to year, and we've seen that over the last couple of years. I think next year, if you look at maybe some individuals that bounce back, you look at things like special teams and how they improve or don't improve. Hopefully, it's the former, not the latter. Those are areas that go under the radar, right? Last year, I was very pleased to see that they were a very good face-off team and they were winning a lot of their face-offs. That's an aspect, a stat that is rarely looked at with any sort of real scrutiny, and it's underrated. But I think it's important because it's all about puck possession. Now you're starting to get the players that once you have the puck possession, can carry the puck out or can get the puck out of their own end, which we struggled with this year. So these are all things that to me spell out improvement. It might not necessarily relate on the scoreboard, but instead of maybe losing a game 5-2, they're losing it, let's say 5-4 or 3-2, whatever the case might be. So I still think there'll be an improvement in the points overall, but it's not going to be a drastic improvement for the reasons you outlined.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that one over there. A lot of great comments in the chat, everything like that. Again, it's not about negativity here. It's not about what I expect. Again, Slacky gave us a good point. Mr. Type talk about the fact like Montreal have the pick of the Calgary Flame. Now that pick is protected. And the Flame finish at the bottom 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They get the pick, and the Montreal get the Fleur Panthers pick. And the Montreal Panthers, whatever they finish the standing, the Montreal Canadiens get that pick. And the Florida finish 11, Mr. Attack, on number 12, 13, 14, 15, right? Montreal Canadiens are going to get their own pick, first round pick, and plus the pick of Calgary Flame. So that would be great, but I don't expect that one. Montreal Canadiens, every time they get a first round pick, they always get burned. Every time. The Montreal pick, the Winnipeg Jet this year. Now, I'm happy they moved from 26 to 21 to get Michael Edge. I think this is a steal for the Montreal Canadiens to get Michael Edge at 19, at 21st overall pick, but it's still at the end of the day, it's our tap. That will be the pick for the Montreal Canadiens about that. A lot of conversation in the chat. Mark is in the house. Welcome for the first time. Mark, hopefully doing well. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like. If you don't mind, that'd be awesome. A lot of great comments left and right. Ron with Kings with us. Chantal would be here like for hours because the subject is so good left and right. Chantal, I'm going to finish, you don't mind, with a couple of news for the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
About this, the Montreal Canadiens released the schedule, guys, the 2024-2025. The first game is October 9. For the first time, you guys, they play at home. On the opening night. Then they're going to go the 10. They're going to play again the Boston Bruins, back-to-back game. And then the Saturday are going to play again Ottawa Senator. And the following Monday, guys, you're going to play again Pittsburgh. They start right away, guys, the first week of the NHL schedule with 3 game and 4 night, back-to-back, and a 4 game and 6 night. And they play 11 games during the month of October, 7 at home, 4 on the road only. But again, at the end of the day, they have 2 time back-to-back, 2 time 3 nights game and 4 nights, and then we have 2 time 4 game and 6 nights. It's for the month of October. The season of the NHL starts with a triple header game, October 8th. This is the first game. Go all the way to April 16 or April 18 of 2025, for the upcoming season. Montreal Canadiens have a pretty good season, pretty good even schedule compared to the back-to-back game, a 3 game and 3 nights and 4 nights, a 3 game 4 nights example. But really strange the schedule at the Christmas, post-Christmas. Usually they always go to Tampa Bay Lightning, and then after that they
Florida.
go to Fleur Panthers.
Carolina.
Right? And then after that they go to Carolina Hurricane. On that year, they're going to go back-to-back, the 27-28 example, or 27-28, or 27-29, 28, 29, whatsoever. Yes, I think it's this way. Then they have to flew Mr. Tap to the Vegas for the new year.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Mr. Tap in Vegas at the New Year evening? What it looked like the next day?
It brings a lot of hope.
They're going to have a lot of
It's Vegas.
celebration. Miss
It's
Gallagher
Vegas.
and Miss Anderson, first year you're married together. Be careful about what could happen. But the problem is that they left the 31st. They go all the way back to Chicago, Mr. Tap, the Friday night against the Blackhawks. And they have to come back, return to Colorado, Mr. Tap, to
Colorado. Yeah.
play again the Avalanche, a back-to-back game. This is the most difficult time of the year for the Montreal Canadiens about schedule left and right. I evaluate everything during my next video of the Ad Daily News. I produce every single day. You're going to see a little bit more deeper the schedule of the Montreal Canadiens. They have one full week vacation in November. The 5 days off. Every team have one. And then remember in February, the Four Nation Cup, Mr. Tap, from February 12th, I believe, until the 22nd or 23rd. They have no game in NHL. So that's happening about the schedule. Montreal again. They have a really difficult year, end of the year on the Montreal again. They play most of the game on the road. No, at home they play. It's in March. They play 14 game in March, 4 game only at home, 10 on the road, and they finish in April, Minnesota, with 9 games, 6 at home and 3 on the road. And that's happening. They have another back-to-back game again in Detroit Red Wings, but this is not the end of the season. So give it a bit more the schedule for the Montreal Canadiens for the upcoming season, Mr. Tap. Definitely, we have another new for the Montreal Canadiens. That was what you asked this. This is a poll question. I'm going to finish the show with that question, Mr. Tap. We know they did not sign any UFA. Are you willing to make a trade, or do you expect Montreal Canadiens to make a trade or not? Can they raise looking to add maybe a Martin Chess or Trevor Zegras, Laney, or other players in the NHL? Do you think the Montreal are going to make a trade or not? This is my poll question of the day.
Coach, the key thing is the price right? I don't think Hughes is going to overextend himself or give up assets to move laterally. He's made that abundantly clear in many conversations he's had with in interviews and conferences. It's to me they'll probably again. I still think McGroarty is their main goal. Natchez seems to be a little bit overvalued in terms of what they're asking for. So that's going to close the door, I think. And the other two, to me, have flags. Again, that's just my opinion, both in Zegras and Laney. And I don't know if you want to take a chance with that at the price that it may take you to get those kind of players. And how would they fit in the long run with the team, right? I think if they can get McGroarty, that would be a big, big addition to their team. He's a rugged winger, 6'1". He's close to 200 pounds. Just what they need. A right-handed winger on to complement either the second or third line. But they're not going to rush into it. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, and they're gonna develop with what they have right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this. About what could happen about this. People talk about what could happen when Montreal Canadiens um, for the upcoming year, for the number, the point, everything like that. Guys, I feel for me it would be 85 point. I personally say it would be the max at more 82 to 84 point. But I don't see more at this for the Montreal Canadiens. A lot of great comments. N26, Robert, I think Marcel will be one more year and Pope as well. For me, next year, Mr. Tap is coming again the same thing. It's about development, progression, and let the young play. For me, I want the young play more time on the ice. If Lane Hudson play with Montreal, don't give him 15 minutes. Let him play 20 minutes. If you have Joshua Watt, don't let play guys 9 minutes. Let him play at 12, 13, 15 minutes per game. Let him
Develop.
try. It's the time to do it again. One more year. I understand we want to win. Martin said we want to win. Their job is on the Joe party, right? They understand that. But at the end of the day, guys, you can try to win, but you can give more time. More young players play on the ice, Mister. It's more a long term, better for them to understand the challenge and the adversity they face every time. How they can keep a 3-2 a lead by one goal. How they can keep a lead by two goals. How they can come back, and then the special team. The special team play a big role for the Montreal Canadiens. For the last 3-4 years, they are below at 20%. And you cannot win and then under 20%. You cannot win in any shot. You cannot carry on a 16, 17, 18, 19%. And the PK, guys, is again, it was around 73, 75% this year, a little bit better, but still at the bottom in any shot. You have to become a team approximately at 78, 79. This is an average in any shot now. 80 will be better for them. But until the special team is below average, you cannot. It's the game is now. It's all about offensive power play team win most of the game in NHL now. So we'll see what could happen about that. We'll see if we have anybody in the chat who can add about this before we leave the building right there. I'll let people talk about what kind of players you can get. For me, I don't see anything on that. I don't see a long-term Martin Nick Chess. The price to pay is too high. I still believe that Canada is going to sign him. Zegras, far away. Let him develop somewhere else. Let him to have a great life outside. That reminds me a lot of stuff like Piqué Subban. When I said that, like he have a really high style of ice for Zegras. Lenny, this is a project at low cost, yes, for the trade, and remaining money, yes. And that's all. He fit on the 3 years contract for the Montreal Canadiens, like Kent Hughes said. But you don't pay a lot to him, and you don't pay him $8 million. I'll be both of them disagree.
No.
And for the Jet situation, I think the Jet will be very patient. They don't need to trade him. The kid's going to play Michigan next year anyway. I don't see it could be a good fit for the Montreal Canadiens, but not right now. I think for me, the Jets going to wait to get a little bit higher the price at some point, and they are not in the rush to do it. I think they try to look into what could happen with Nicolas Heller anyway. So this, I believe, there will be something. Anything you want to add, Mr. Nata, before we leave the building?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say it's almost the opposite, Coach. I think the longer that takes with McGroarty, the more it's advantage Montreal, not Winnipeg. But I guess time will tell.
You absolutely this guy. We want to thank the moderator, Mr. Luciano and Ron with Kings. All the people in the chat tonight, thank you so much. You guys delivery. We're going to take a couple of days off at the Hockey Nation. We're going to be back every Sunday night, every Wednesday night during the off season, at least 2 shows per week, and maybe more. But for the vacation of what's going on around Canada, USA right now, we take a time to rest, take a couple of nights off. We'll be back Sunday night, like I mentioned, and after Marco could join me. Right, Frank's is back with us next Wednesday night. So Frank for the Hockey Nation, for the Montreal Hockey Now is going to be with us next week. And then, Mr. Tap, don't forget to follow my video every single day of the Montreal Canadiens. Today was about Evan Demidov. Don't forget the one Friday. I work on it, and Michael Edge, why the reason Montreal select and why the reason Montreal select fun players that have some kind of challenge or adversity in life. Their character and their maturity make an impact on the way the Montreal Canadiens select their players. Until next time, it's on tap, because that's who you are, and you deliver them this every single time you beside me, Mr. Tap.
You are awesome.
GOAT.
You are
The GOAT coach.
You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
And for our friend Bobby Thorman, listen up, we want to wish everybody a great evening for everyone. Don't forget, please, to click on the like before you leave the building. Subscribe. We have about approximately 20 likes. Maybe Sunday night, Mr. Pat, we're going to read the 8.
We'll have it.
We'll be interesting.
Wouldn't that be
What
something?
happen for sure. Everybody, be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the Mr. Tap now. The second app of what?
your 2024.
Ye did it again. An amazing great night, Mr. Tap. Look forward to seeing you until the next time. Until then, my friend, we wish you an amazing great night, sweet dream, and a happy Independence Day. Everybody in USA, July 4th tomorrow, and finish your week strong, everyone. Good night, Mr. Tap.
Good night, Coach. Good night, Hockey Nation.
Good night. Oh, 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 oh. Booyah!